People ask me, I'm going to be signing books. I've never done this before. This is like an online book signing thing. So I'll be signing books, and then I'll be answering questions. So you can actually go online, or you might already be online, because if I'm telling you now to do it and you're not online, you wouldn't know. But you can actually go and ask me questions, and I can sign books. So I'm going to start signing some books, but I'm going to tell you why I wrote this book. The reason why this book is important, at least for me. Thank you very much, sir. What's your name, by the way?
Eric.
Eric, good to meet you. Please don't look at me in the eye. Thank you. Can somebody get rid of Eric? The reason why I wrote this book is because whenever I was doing book tours for the other books, people were always asking me how I wrote my monologues for the 5. Like, what was my process, which is a very pretentious word because I really don't have a process. Essentially, I wake up in the morning and I drink 2 cups of coffee and I go on a stair climber, and then I write. But the point of my monologues was to persuade people to a particular point of view about a specific subject, whether it's my views on gun control or climate change or terror. My goal is to persuade somebody not only that I'm right, but that that it makes sense to them that I'm right. That it's different than just yelling at somebody your point of view, but like they go like, okay, he's making some sense. I may disagree with him, but he's not crazy. That's what I'm trying to do, and that's what I try to do every day on the 5. Jesus, I already lost this guy's name. Oh, Eric. So anyway, the book offers like about, I don't know, like 20 or 25 chapters. I forgot how many. That show you the little tricks of the trade, how I try to frame an argument so that I can get somebody to agree with me in a fun and different way. The things that I try to avoid, this is to David, Merry Christmas, by the way, is I try to avoid being angry or being shrill, and I think that's the most important thing. The left has owned that market for years, and I think the right works by being fun and trying to incorporate more humor into their point of view. And that's always been my way of trying to not necessarily win an argument, but persuade somebody. I'm not interested in confirming assumptions. I'm interested in converting people who are on the fence. So that's what this book is about. And like I said, I've never done this before. It's hard to sign and talk about something at the same time, but I'm trying. This is for Alec. The message is, keep being right. There you go. Let's go to some questions. This is from Brittany, and I can't pronounce her last name. And she asks, hey, Greg, I am a collage student living in the liberal tri-state area, and I feel that most people look at me like I'm crazy for my right views. I was wondering what convections led to your right views. College is C-O-L-L-E-G-E, not collage. Okay, so the first thing you should do is always spell check. Always spell check. And I think you meant convictions and not convections, because convections I think has to do with baking. I'm not sure. Is it baking? Convection ovens? Yep. All right, I just want to make sure. Convictions, what convictions led to my right views? I don't know if it was convictions. It was more being around people who were liberal and seeing the end result of liberalism when I was in college taught me how to question, I think, the things that were around me that turned me into a conservative. So if you were I think what you're asking is, how do you deal being a lone conservative in a liberal world? You just be yourself, and you read, and you become well prepared. And when you're in a situation where you have to debate or discuss a topic, you have to out-prepare them. I say in the book that you should be reading every article you can get your hands on at an item, because it's up to you. You have the target on your back as a conservative, and they don't. As a liberal, you don't have to back up your ideas, because your ideas, by their very nature, are romantic and seen as beautiful. Whereas as a conservative, you are seen as evil. So you have to figure out a way to present your ideas as factual and therefore compassionate, because facts always lead to compassion. Cheryl from Johnson City, Tennessee says, why do you wear your wedding ring on your middle finger? I get this a lot. It's so weird. This is for Courtney, by the way. I'm doing two things at once. You're awesome. So I think she's asking me to write that she's awesome, correct? All right, there you go. There you go. Okay, wedding ring on the middle finger. When I got married, I was really fat. I was like probably 30 pounds overweight, which isn't really fat. I was kind of portly. So when I got the wedding ring sized, it was for a fatter finger. So then when I lost all that weight, it was probably like the third or fourth week when I was doing red eye. The interesting thing about the beginning of red eye was I was very fat and sweaty. I wasn't going to the gym because I was too nervous, always worrying about the show. And then once everything settled down, I decided I better go to the gym or I'm going to have a heart attack. And then I lost all the weight. Then the ring kept falling off. So I decided I had to move my ring here. Now I have two choices. I can either size the ring smaller so that it fits on this finger, or I could gain all the weight back. And I'm not sure what to do, because gaining the weight back is kind of fun. It's like an athletic event. It's like, can I gain 30 pounds in the next 6 months? Janine, love your sweaters. I don't know what that means, but I'm writing it, Janine. Congratulations. This is very strange. This is to Kellen. See, I like Kellen. Very simple. There you go. Griv. That's a great name. Best of the best. All right. Dennis Shannon asks, I feel like I'm on a radio station in Mars. Do you know what I mean? It's like I'm sitting here on this freaking weird-ass planet talking to nobody, signing books. Is this how it feels for everybody? It just feels out of the ordinary, but then again, that's all right. Sorry, Griv. Okay, you can give me more books, but I'm not kidding. It's weird. All right. Dennis Shannon asked me, is it true that your favorite song is the Unicorn song by the Irish Rovers? It makes for perfect background music as I watch you sign books. Well, thank you for that, Dennis. I don't know what is worse or weirder. My obsession with unicorns, or the obsession people have with my obsession for unicorns. Because my obsession with unicorns, by the way, is purely manufactured. It started when I was at Red Eye. I thought, you know what would be really funny? What would happen if there was a middle-aged man who had the same obsessions of a 12-year-old girl? And then if you just kept pushing it every day. So I hate to break it to you, I really don't care about unicorns. But everybody keeps sending me unicorn stuff. I have the best unicorn mugs in the world. I have unicorn pins. I have unicorn shirts. But I only did that to confuse critics. There were things that I did in the beginning of Red Eye purposely to confuse people who didn't like Fox News. The obsession with hot tubbing with Lou Dobbs. That's just confusing to people. It never really happened. He won't come near me. But the whole idea is to throw off your critics by not being what they think you are. That's what I was doing. I don't know if it worked or not because, frankly, I was the one doing it, so I wasn't watching the actual effect of it. Merry Christmas, John. This is fun. Oh, thank you for the coffee. A little coffee there. Coffee smells, by the way, coffee is one of those things that smells better than it tastes. It's an illusion. There are things that smell worse than they are. We won't get into that, but we all know what that is. But coffee smells fantastic, and then you drink it and you realize what a letdown, because all it really is something that's very hot and very bitter, like an ex-wife. To Maddie, always be right. True, it's true though. Smells are very, very illusory. Is that the word? All right. Let's skip that stupid one. Grace from West Olive, Michigan. That's an amazing place to grow up in, West Olive. Must have been the pits. Thank you very much. I actually think that was a pretty good joke on the fly. Maybe not. Who cares? I'm doing this. You're not. I'm sitting here taking these. Are we selling books, by the way? Mm-hmm. Good, good. All right. So That's hot. Who is more fun to banter back and forth with, Juan or Geraldo? I personally enjoy seeing you rev up Geraldo. That says it's from Bob, but then it says Grace. I don't know who's asking this question. Um, I love, I love both of those guys. The great thing about Geraldo is no matter what happens, the answer will always involve him, because his first name is Geraldo. He has no. I don't even know what. Oh, it's Rivera. That's right. Don Rooney. But it's funny. He can tie anything back into himself, and I always find that to be like almost like a wrestling move. It requires psychological contortion. Don. And Juan is the sweetest person. He's a very nice guy. He has nice ties, and both of his sons are Republican. And I'm telling you, that is an amazing sitcom. You know, you have a liberal African American columnist who's both of his sons, I think, work for the RNC. I mean, how hasn't anybody picked this up and seen this as a great TV show? And I would love to be there when they argue, because Juan's a sweetheart, and I think I've met his kids a couple of times. But I don't pay much attention to anybody. I just, kind of wander through the halls at Fox. People ask me what Fox is like. It is Jeff, to a great fan. This is confusing. Working at Fox News is like working at the greatest high school you could ever imagine. That means that all the women are beautiful. Every woman's a cheerleader, and all the guys are dumpy like me. That's basically the perfect high school. There are no jocks. It's just like weird-looking dudes like me wandering around who are, without makeup, look frightening, but you only see our faces, so you don't see how we really look and like how bizarre our bodies are after years of disuse. But the women are absolutely stunning. It really is like every woman is a cheerleader with a 200 IQ. Like none of the women at Fox are dumb. They're all like super smart, but they also look great. The guys are like me. We're like just kind of dumpy guys that, wear bad shoes. Except for me, I wear great shoes. All right, who is this? To David, one crazy RT. Don't know what that means. To David, one crazy RT. I'm afraid to figure out what that stands for. All right. When are you coming to Portland, Oregon, to do a book signing? This is from, that's from my sister. I'm not kidding. All right. I haven't been to Portland, Oregon, since the 1990s, which is very interesting because that was the height of grunge. I was there for it was like, I was working at Men's Health. So it was like one of those junkets, and I think I went to stay at Nike, and I went to a strip club in Portland, and I was very depressed, and that's the only thing I remember. I left very sad. I left very sad, and by the way, I might be the only guy on the planet who doesn't like strip clubs, because I find it very strange to stare at somebody who's naked in front of you and knows that you're staring at them. I don't understand how that is like, how that can be enjoyable. I mean, I can understand like driving up a coast and there's a nude beach and you go, oh, they don't know I'm looking. But the fact that they know that you're looking, it makes me embarrassed. I'm more naked than they are by looking. Anyway, so no, I'm not going to Portland. Although Portland's a great city. Do you miss your creative exchanges with Bob Beckel? Oh, I love Bob Beckel, and that's also from. Oh, that's the same person, West Olive, Michigan. Yes, I haven't talked to Bob in a while, but I do miss him. He's a great guy. We always brought out the best in each other. You know what I just realized? I'm writing the person's name that bought the book and the name of the person that it's for. Now they know who it's from. Sorry, Trent. But nobody gave me the rules. All right. When do you sleep? This is from Jeff Goldman. Why? You planning on breaking in some kind of weird, wild fantasy? It's not going to happen, pal. You don't even know where I live. It's hard to find. Trust me. All right. He asked me, when do you sleep? lost it.
Sorry,
You hit refresh.
I hit that you were answering it.
Yeah.
Pull it back.
Actually,
When do you sleep? I'm guessing that on top multiple cable show appearances, daily Gregor logs, and authoring books, you need to prep on world events. Seems like 23 hours worth of work.
you know, that is a very good question. What was his name?
His name was. It has disappeared. Let's say it was Bob.
All right.
I think it was Bob.
Bob, thank you. When I work, I try to combine things. So, like when I write for the 5, I do it when I'm exercising. So I combine things. But the fact is, it's not that hard. If all you do, I don't really have a hard job. All I do all day is talk, and I think. So it's not like I can do that all the time. I can do that when I'm walking somewhere, when I'm grocery shopping, or working. Like I said, when I'm working out. It's not like my job requires me to be in a specific place pushing a machine up a hill. You know, I can actually do this stuff wherever I am, so it's not as hard as you think. But for you kids at home, maybe it's inspiration to, I don't know, think, because it's a great job to have if all you're being paid to do is think. It's better than like lifting really heavy things, which is really hurt my back in my early 20s. Tyler.
If you want to make some phone calls, we can do that too.
Really?
Your call, yeah. We've got a phone that works now.
Really? All right, let's see. Who do I want to talk to? Well, you want me to call John Fitzsimmons since he pitched like 5 questions to me? This is definitely somebody that is interested in hearing something.
I think that's a perfect pick.
All right.
Let me get it all dialed up.
All right.
Yeah,
I love taking phone calls. It's like old school Larry King. Hello, you're on. Who was the dude from New York, the crazy dude? John, no, something Grant.
You have to hold it up to you. John Fitzsimmons.
This is great. I hope I get his voicemail. Yes, excellent. This is even better. Wait, you don't want to hear his number. You don't want to hear his number. No. Blah blah blah. Now you're gonna get sued. I think this is actually the wrong number. But anyway, I was looking to buy a used Vespa. It was on Craigslist. It was a purple 1973 Vespa. It was missing the seat. But I'm willing to pay top dollar, and I need to know by midnight because I have to leave the country. So if you can contact me at 73-596. Thanks. By the way, you did call the wrong. I think you called a friend of yours. I love that. Oh, where am I? Happy birthday, Danielle. So is this how most of them go? Is it just kind of weird and awkward? And you guys like have to sit here and go, why are we doing this? This is very strange for me because this is the first time I've ever done anything without human contact. So you're doing a book signing to ghosts.
It's true.
It really is. It's like I find this to be strange. Is it strange for you?
Oh, no.
Yeah? No, you can be honest with me.
I just get to watch you do it. So.
Yeah, so you're just hanging out going like, it's almost time for a beer. Believe me, I'm telling you. For the ever loyal Paula. That's nice. There's never been an unattractive Paula. Try to figure that out. Do parents know when they're naming their kids are going to be cute? Because all women... I'm going to shut up. Yeah. Lori, see? Ends in a vowel. She's probably cute. Kenneth from the Midwest. Big forearms. Telling you. I don't want to mess with Kenneth from the now. Here's a question: does Kenneth from the Midwest want that written?
He does.
Kenneth from the Midwest.
Literally, yeah.
That sounds like the name of the next Springsteen album. It's a story about Kenneth from the Midwest.
I've got Dennis on the phone from St. Petersburg, Florida,
Really?
who asked you a question. How does a guy who drinks and has no muscles get a job writing for Men's Health?
Well, you have to understand. Back in
This is Dennis.
oh, Dennis, are you in?
Yes.
Hi, Dennis. How are you?
I'm doing fine.
Excellent. Where are you calling from?
I'm calling from St. Petersburg, Florida, and you haven't been here yet.
I know. What are you wearing right now?
Not much.
Ah, excellent. Neither am I. So what was your question? Your question was, how did I get a job at Men's Health?
Yeah, how does like a little guy with no muscles that drinks a lot get a job at Men's Health?
Because I wasn't always a little guy with muscles who drinks a lot. I was a little guy with a lot of muscles who drank a lot. Working out is a big waste of time. But I did it because it was something to do. By the way, while I'm talking to you, I'm signing. So if it sounds like I don't care, it's honestly because I don't. But I'm signing books. But anyway, to your question, Ben, so I was very interested in fitness when I was in high school, and oops, I spelled this guy's name wrong. And when I got into Men's Health, I just like every morning I got into this stuff. I did everything, and any young man can get into something until they get out of it, and that could be any kind of like activity. I believe it's either fitness, gang stuff, you name it, because a guy has a lot of energy and he doesn't know where to put it. In my case, I did the right thing and I went into a gym. And then when I got out of it, I realized, boy, what a waste of time. I'm rambling, by the way. So I think it is time.
I wouldn't know about any of that because I'm an old man.
Well, you know what? How old are you?
I am 58.
Ah, shut up. That's young. 58's the new 47.
Yeah. Tell
Yeah.
my children that are 35 that.
Well, you know what? You tell them, I don't know. Tell them they'll be your age someday, and they'll have all the same problems. All right, buddy, I got to go because, frankly, I'm running out of patience with you. You're driving me crazy. Talk to you later.
I appreciate it. Thanks for the compliment.
You got it. Whew. What is this? This name is amazing. Let's see what we have here. John Fitzsimmons. That was the dude that we tried to call before. He said, of all your accomplishments, which one are you most proud of? I think it was the polio vaccine. Something I don't talk about a lot because I like to share. Like everybody knows, I like to share credit. But the polio vaccine was just something that I kind of stumbled onto by accident. I was actually looking for something to preserve some yogurt because I bought some TCBY yogurt. And I wanted to preserve it, but I didn't have a refrigerator. I kind of mixed some stuff together, and lo and behold, I had the polio vaccine. That's the wrong story. Another question from my sister. Okay, wait. So what am I most proud of? What I'm most proud of. This is an interesting point, that I never ended up in prison, because when you were a kid in the 70s, because I'm 51, almost all the shows were like Dragnet and Adam 12. You assumed that at some point you were going to be in jail just by accident. So I'm really proud that I didn't end up in prison, and that the second thing that I'm proud of is that I make a living off doing what I did in homeroom, which was just being a jerk, being a smartass. Think about it. That's all I do. If you thought about it, if you took me out of the 5 or any show and you put me in a classroom, I would just be that guy that sat in the back making wise-ass remarks and making fun of people who deserve it, which is what I do. Can you come visit? No. Have you ever, this is again from the same dude who apparently is obsessed with me. Have you ever entertained the idea of running for political offices? Yes, and I'll tell you why. And I'll tell you why I haven't. Living in New York, I believe that I would be a better mayor than what's his face? What is his name? De Blasio, thank you. But then again, I realize anybody could. And the only reason why he won is because no one will ever vote for a Republican. You have to run as an independent. I've been trying to get Kimberly Guilfoyle to run because she's a hardcore, smart prosecutor, and she would wipe the floor with de Blasio. But I don't know. Maybe I thought she was serious about it. But I thought if I ran, I know I could beat this guy as an independent because I hate what he does to this city. But then again, I realized I don't want to do it. It's like a lot of work. I don't want to do it. It's like that's why liberals become mayors, because they don't have any other competency. So they get the job. They end up doing the work because they don't have anything else to do. I, on the other hand, can do other things. I'm a renowned hobbyist. I have absolutely no hobbies. If anybody ever asks, I have no hobbies. Hobbies are things that keep you from drinking. That's how they started. Like when a guy started putting a ship in a bottle, it was because his wife was worried that he was emptying all those bottles. So it's like, okay, there's got to be something we can get him to do. Fishing, everything, all that stuff started to get a guy to stop drinking. That's my theory anyway. And then I realized, actually, bowling's fun, but there's a bar there. So then I would just sit there and drink beer, and I'm not that good at bowling. That bowling would be the only hobby I would be interested in because it's kind of fun, and you wear funny shoes, and there's stuff to look at, and it's noisy, and people seem pretty nice. That's the only hobby sport I could get into because it's not complicated. Like all other hobbies are really, really complicated. Like I don't need to buy stuff. I don't even, like I lent my golf clubs to a coworker in 1995, and I never asked for them back. And they were really good golf clubs, but I was like never got around to it. His name is Steven. Worked at Men's Health. He has my golf clubs. But it was like I didn't even think. Oh, sorry, Pamela. This is to Steven. From Pamela. Steve, Merry Christmas. How am I doing? Am I getting through these too slow? I'm just babbling. Okay. I'll take some more books. Right here? This one? Oh, sorry. Yep. Let's see. Are you aware that you're... No. True or false? You once spent time in silence at the Abbey of Gethsemane, which is Thomas Merton's monastery. If true, what was your interest in being silent? If false, blink 3 times to dispel the rumor. This is a very, very, very good question. This is from Kevin Sebeski from Doylestown. It is true that I did spend time in a monastery, the Abbey of Gethsemane, which is Thomas Merton, by the way. Do you know how he died? He electrocuted himself in a bathtub by accident. He was a famous monk. And I don't know how he did it. Was it with an electric shaver? But it was not a suicide. It was an accident. Anyway. So why did I move into a monastery? Because I was in my, let's see, 90, 97, 98. I was in my mid-30s or something, or early 30s. Oh, there's no name here.
No.
Oh, okay. And I wanted to test to see whether I could be alone, because Gail, is that Gail Love? Gail, I don't even. Okay, Gail, Greg. I'm sorry, Gail. I don't even know. At first, red eye. Oh, there you go. Anyway, so I wanted to figure out what it would be like if I was not around people, because I was trying to, and it's something that people in general will come to think about is like, can you bear being alone? I think people find themselves doing lots of things, whether it's going to bars or being online, is a barrier to dealing with yourself. And I wanted to see if I could do that. So I found a monastery and I moved in, and it was pretty awesome. The food was fantastic. So what was the name of the place? Gethsemane. They make fruitcakes, which I can't stand. But the people there, the guys there, the monks, they're just amazing cooks, and they all wear Nike shoes. It was weird. They're all dressed as monks, but they were all wearing shoes. And there were other people staying there besides myself. And you had a tiny room, and I met with monks, and I would talk to them about like stuff, but they were just like fairly normal guys, older dudes, some younger dudes, but just dudes. They were just dudes. It was like being with a basketball team that doesn't play basketball. So they're just kind of always in the locker room. They're just kind of hanging out. It's like there's no game. However, the game is that they have Mass, Vespers. I think it's called Vespers, but I haven't thought about this in 20 years. They have Vespers almost every almost every hour. It's like, but or something like that. And you can get up, and what it does is you can get up at specific times. Oh, there you go. Specific times during the night. Like it could be at 4:20, 5:20. Love you. I'm not going to say love you so much. See, this is the problem with these things. It's like people will have me do these personal messages, and then they'll come back and they'll sue me, and they go, we had an affair. And I go, that's not true. And they go, yes, I have this book in which you wrote, I love you so much. And I go, how do I go? No, I did that because I was doing a stupid signing online. Anyway.
Well,
Cheryl.
we need to know.
Yeah, Cheryl, you can't sue me. Anyway. So, like, what do I do here? David Billingsley, what am I signing? Do I write his name?
Just say it.
Yeah, David. So anyway, so Vespers, you were, it was great. You get up and you go to these masses and you chant and stuff. And it was, and I wrote about it. But the reason why I did it was I wanted to see if I could survive on my own, alone, with my thoughts. And as it turns out, I couldn't. Around the 4th or 5th day of 7, I just got in the rental car and I drove to, I think it was Lexington, Kentucky, or I can't remember. It was a non-dry town because the town that I was in was dry, and maybe it was Lexington. I can't remember. And I went to a bar and they were having the World Cup. And I'm gonna write booyah, not boobs, because I don't want to get in trouble. I ended up in a bar, and they had a jackhammer. They were fixing the place, and I had the soccer game and the jackhammer, and I was drinking beer, and I thought, this is like, I realized I can't. I have to have noise. I have to have noise. But then I went back. I went back and I spent the remaining 3 days there. And that's why I went to a monastery. And the story is probably in a magazine somewhere. But it was, I used to do stories like that all the time. When I was at Stuff Magazine, my favorite story was after I got dumped by a girl, I felt really bad. And I thought, I felt like, you know, when you're in a situation where you get in a broken up relationship, you feel like nobody loves you. You feel like a leper. So my idea when I was editor at Stuff Magazine was to find an actual leper. And so there was a leper in, I think it was Alamo, is that Texas? I think it was. And his name was Jose. And I flew him into New York, and the headline was, a leper walks into a bar, because, you know, that would be the joke. And then I said, and you find out the joke's on you. So we went bar hopping. But me and this guy, we went bar hopping all over Midtown New York. And it turns out, like, the story turned out beautifully, because it turned out the leper was married, has 2 kids, a great life, and phenomenally better life than mine at that time. I mean, he was happy, everything was great. He had leprosy. But I was a young guy. It was the best. There was a couple of great things about it. One, I was smoking lots of cigarettes, and he quit smoking because he could not feel his hands. So when he would smoke, he wouldn't feel it burning his hands. So he had to quit smoking because he kept scarring his hands because of the leprosy. Dulls your nerve endings. So that's why he quit smoking. But I managed to get him smoking again after 25 years because he just enjoyed having a good time. So I got a leper. My argument was, you are a leper. What's wrong with smoking? that was my, yeah, that was fun. Anyway, so we had a great time, and his family was great, and the story turned out to be that like, and it's a cliche, but like all your problems are nothing when you meet somebody who overcomes a great problem. So me pining over some girl is nothing compared to this guy who went through hell. By the way, he got leprosy from armadillo feces, which is how you get leprosy. It's spread through armadillo feces, at least in the United States. And he was a football player, and he got cleated. I don't know if this is when he was in Georgia. I think it was. I'm not sure where he lived. He might have been in Georgia, but he got cleated, and the soil that got into his skin contained. I mean, talk about the odds. Like, this is how complicated life and death is. That you have this incredible machine, this human body, but somebody can cleat you with armadillo feces and give you leprosy. Like, you're sitting here worrying about, I don't know, fibromyalgia or diabetes or all this other stuff, and then somebody says, no, you got leprosy from armadillo feces because you played a pickup game on Thanksgiving. And that's what, I mean, he was a young kid, that's what happened. And he ended up living in a leper colony, which existed back in, I guess, I don't know, he was probably my age, maybe 10 years old or so, maybe in the 70s. I think he lived in Louisiana. There was a leper colony, and then moved to Hawaii, which I think was the last leper colony, and then that closed, and so he ended up moving out. And a lot of these guys didn't want to move out of leper colonies because they didn't know where to go. They didn't have any social skills. They would basically live in this place and smoke cigarettes. Anyway, I don't know how I got. That was a good question though, because I didn't know anybody knew that about.
Somebody electrocuted himself with an electric fan.
Merton.
Yeah.
Yes.
Electric fan.
Yes.
The guy.
He was quite a famous person at the time when he died, and he wrote some things that I can't remember. That was a really good story. All right, let's see what else we got here. Okay. Any chance your show will go Monday to Friday? Also, sounds like you have great taste in music. Who is your desert island band? That's from Kevin McLeod. I think one day the show will expand. I can't say when because I never want to predict anything. I could end up being arrested for something. So I like signing these books in which I don't know what I'm signing. And it could end up in the hands of somebody like, great job. And you find out he just robbed a bank. I'm telling you. It's like, great job, Steve. And I sign it, and you find out that he like robbed a bank the night before, and then I get called in. How did you know that he robbed a bank? With love. Greg Gutfeld. I don't even know what this means. Batmaster. All right. Desert Island Band would be the Cramps, only because they put on such a great live show, and Lux Interior is dead. So it'd be really cool to every day to wake up and listen to a live version of their first album. Which, if you have never listened to the Cramps, Songs the Lord Taught Us, it's one of the greatest rock albums of all time. To John, love, Bob, and Susan. That sounds like a lovely family. John must be very happy. John must be the son, right? Probably. John Benke. Who knows? I could be wrong. Don't want to jump to conclusions. Thank you for supporting my habit. Clinton Sturts. Sounds like the name of a character in an FX show. You Clinton Sturts? Yeah, who wants to know? Seems we found your pickup truck down by the lake. Maybe I leave it down by the lake. What's it to you? It's cheap parking down by the lake. All right, that's the extent of my acting for today. Thank you for supporting my habit. See, I'm writing things that could incriminate me. What is your favorite part of the Greg Gutfeld show? I like my favorite part of any show is when things are happening that I have nothing to do with. So I can just sit there and watch it and go, ah, look at this. It's all falling apart. It's like they are yelling at each other, and it's awesome, and I started that. It's like really great because like most of this great stuff on TV you don't expect. Like there are times after a show and it's over and you're like shaking mad, just like anything else in life. Like, and you don't even know why it happened. You weren't prepared for it. A great example is like if you're in a supermarket or a clothing store and everything's fine, and then all of a sudden you get in a weird confrontation with a stranger, and you feel like all this adrenaline and all this weird stuff happening, and then it goes away. That's like what TV can be. It's like that wasn't supposed to happen. Why did I bring that up? Because that happened to me recently. Like, I hate lines because depending where you are from in the world, you treat lines differently. Like, if you're at a supermarket, there are lines in which everybody gets in one line and they snake, or there's a line where there's 4 checkout stands and you have to decide which line you get into. But they're all the same. Like the snake line has 4 checkouts and the 4 checkouts has a thing to get in. This creates conflicts that, like, it depends where you're from. What line do you get in that isn't cutting? And so you end up creating these weird conflicts that end up getting you really, really angry. And I find that's the same thing with TV, where they're unlikely, pull your sweater down. Thank you. Isn't that great? Pull your sweater down. These are the things that are important. And actually, that was good because it got me off a really ridiculous tangent about lines. Lines cause a lot of problems because nobody knows how to deal with a line. If you feel that somebody is getting in front of you in a line, it's the same thing with television. The anger that you feel in TV is fleeting, but instinctual. It's like real. It's like you get mad if somebody's messing with you. Same thing with being in line. I have no idea what I'm talking about. What is your favorite band and why is it Rush? Why, you probably meant why isn't it Rush? I'm not big into progressive rock. I think progressive rock is too much noodling. I don't know. My favorite band changes. I think it will always be the Clash, just because I was at that age when the Clash hit and changed my life, and I went and saw them religiously wherever I could. And I got to know Mick Jones. Mick Jones did Red Eye, and we went out and got hammered. I also love the Sex Pistols. Blah, blah, blah. Why do people send, this is what kills me, is when people send political questions. This is not a time for political questions. This is a time just to be, like if you were at a bar, would you ask a really, really political question? Would you? I wouldn't. It's like I'd rather want to ask, like, exactly what is your favorite band or what TV show you wish was still on. Let's see. What makes the 5 co-hosts get along so well? The fact that it's only an hour. That it's a great job. To Jeff, Merry Christmas. I forgot I was signing these. You gotta be respectful. You gotta like each other. I don't think, somebody said this to me, excuse me, when I first started working at Fox, that they don't hire a-holes. I don't remember who said that to me, but it was a higher up, and he said you will find that there aren't a lot of them, and if you are one, you won't last here. And I thought that was one of the more interesting things I've ever heard anybody say to me, is that, and it was true. The moment that you reach the a-hole level is the moment that you probably move on. Generally, like everybody that I work with at Fox is like, even when I'm mad at them on TV, off camera are just sweethearts. Well, that's a hard name to spell. But who's your favorite co-host on the 5? Me. Why would I? Actually, obviously, I get along with Dana most because we sit next to each other. It has the closest relationship you can have to being in a classroom every day. So we sit there. It really is one of those weird things where it's about location. You know, you sit next to somebody and you trade notes, and you talk and you giggle. But having said that, she really isn't my favorite. I can't stand her. To my friend. And I'm tired of hearing about her dog. Carrie. To Chris. There you go. All right, let's see. When did you blah 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 blah? Yeah, I don't care about that. I don't care about that. When did you start getting into politics? When did you start caring? You know what's funny? That's a really good question. I didn't think about it till now. My buddy Dennis Boyles, he was an interesting person. He is. Dennis Boyles was like P.J. O'Rourke's roommate in the late 60s. And he became like an editor at Playboy, and then he was an editor at large at Men's Health. And he was, when I was at Men's Health, I was writing about abs and supplements and abs and abs. I mean, all those cover lines in the 90s, I have something to do with. It was an incredibly profitable business. It was the first time that men discovered abs as some kind of barometer of fitness. It was like if you had abs, somehow that meant that you were like holy. It really was. It meant that you were holy. It meant that there were things that you weren't doing bad and you were better than everybody else if you had abs. I had abs for 4 years. And then I realized, why am I caring for these 6 children? Because that's what they are. It's like, why am I walking around trying to feed these little beasts? Like, I can't have fun. And it gets you into a weird place. Because once you have abs, you can't stop having abs. Getting back to...
This is actually Scarlett who asked the question. She's on the phone.
Oh.
So I thought you could answer directly to her.
Hi, Scarlett.
Hi, Greg. How are you?
I'm great. Thanks for asking. So I'm answering your question. Why did I get into politics? I was a long-winded answer. A friend of mine who was an editor, who was my editor, the guy that really kind of taught me how to write or think about writing. Darn it. While I'm doing this, I'm screwing up the signing. But it's okay. Anyway, he basically he started pushing me towards writing about bigger things. And he says, you should write about this. You should write about that. And I think it was about men on college campuses or things that weren't health related. And I said, why? And he goes, because it's fun and it's actually valuable. Like, it's fun to do politics. It's fun. Like, you could sit and write about the 20 tips to a great Valentine's Day, which would be in Men's Health. Or I used to freelance for women's magazines. I wrote a column for Cosmo for a while and Glamour. And I wrote lots of stuff for women's magazines, the weird, stupid service shit that says, like, how to get your man happy. But what my buddy Dennis taught me is you can actually have more fun talking about the moral, political decisions of the day. And it's actually worth it because it's valuable. So that's what happened. But that's a good question.
Great. Hey, are you ever going to come to Iowa?
I would love to come to Iowa. Now, that is currently a state.
Yes, it
Yes.
is. It's an awesome state. I mean, hello. I know you don't
I'm
want to
joking.
talk,
I'm being the typical jerk from New York. By the way, I'm not from New York. But no, I would love to come to Iowa. It's just that I believe I think I have been to Iowa. Or was that Hawaii? Which is the one where Greg Brady almost drowned?
That's Hawaii.
Oh, okay. See, close to Iowa, though. Sorry about that.
Right in the middle.
Yes. All right. Well, that was a great show, by the way, the Brady Bunch, because Vincent Price was in it. All right. I've had enough talking to you.
Well, thank you.
Thank you. Take care. Give my best to the family.
Love you.
All right. So what's next? Let's hit the next button here. For Joni Wooten. My son thinks blah, blah, blah. My son thinks that he's going to see you autograph my book. I say he needs to go to bed because it probably won't happen. What say you? I don't know, BJ. I haven't seen her book. I haven't seen BJ's book, so sorry. But I would have your son stay up as long as he wants, because it's kind of funny to watch children like wander around in a weird daze because they haven't been sleeping. Okay, that's old. That's you have. Oh, this is the same dude again. You have such a sharp wit. Is something you developed over the years, or did you inherit it? Everything's inherited. Everything. Every single thing that you do is inherited. The important thing is if somebody, Derek, is if somebody can actually tap it. So like my mother got me to reading Mad magazines and then National Lampoon. So that stuff existed within me, but it needed to be pulled out by your parents. They do studies that show that if you're introverted and you have introverted parents, you're more likely to be introverted. And if you're introverted and your parents are extroverted, they can pull you out of that and get you to be more outgoing. So it's a combination, I think, of factors. But even those factors, the parents, those are also driven by genetics as well. So in a sense, you have absolutely no free will. But my point is this. What was your question? Oh, sharp wit. It was because I started liking. My mom got me into funny stuff, and I liked the funny stuff. And then I got glasses and pimples. And when you get glasses and pimples, you got to like learn a trade, you know. It's like and there was no room for cobblers in San Mateo. You become people become class clowns as a way of staking out turf, and I think that's what happened with me around 4th or 5th grade when I remember Misty. I'm not going to write that. What if I say nice figure, Misty? Nice. No, I'm not even saying nice personality, but I'm not going to say that other word. Because then my wife is going to go, did you actually write this? Enjoy. So I can't, what was the question again? Jeez, Louise.
Such sharp wit is what you were just
Oh, I've answered that. I think I've answered that question.
You've got it.
Yes. What do you miss most about San Francisco? I miss Bruno's on Mission. I'm from San Mateo. And I went to Berkeley. San Francisco is great. I miss San Francisco when you could smoke, because San Francisco is a great area to smoke and drink. Like if you ever watch Zodiac, which is a great David Fincher movie, it's the best movie that captures the essence of the Bay Area in the 70s and in I'd say early 80s, and San Francisco, which has that kind of cool sea breeze. And stinky cheap drink bar, which is what San Francisco was. What I loved. Oops, sorry, Dale. Fucked up. Screwed up your name. Bleep that.
Collector's edition.
Yeah. But anyway, Merry Christmas. To Paul, or does he just want me to write Merry Christmas? This is the thing that's confusing to me. Like, does he want me to say Merry Christmas to Paul, or does he just?
He just wants you to say Merry Christmas.
All right. That was easy. To Grace, who is always right.
I've got Mitchell on the line who asked you about San Francisco.
All right.
Mitchell, here's Greg Gutfeld.
What's up, Mitchell? How are you?
Hi, Greg.
How's it going, Mitchell? Where are you from?
I'm from San Francisco.
I knew that. But what part of San Francisco?
I grew up right above the Castro at 19th and Douglas.
Oh, all right. Where'd you go to high school?
I didn't go to high school in the city. My brothers did. They went to Mission High and Washington High.
Yeah, I think my dad went to Washington High. I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure he went to Washington, and that was back in probably the 1940s. Long time ago.
Oh, I was lucky. I grew up there in the 60s. I was,
You have no memory of it. Let's face it, no memory at all.
I was too young to enjoy it.
Well, I'll tell you what. You know what I miss about the Bay Area? I miss the unchanging weather, and that's it. Oh, I miss 280. My favorite freeway on the planet is 280.
280 is awesome.
280 has
280.
280 was like designed by German engineers. Has the best sloping. When you should be driving cars that go 300 miles an hour on 280, and there's never any traffic like ever on 280. If 101's packed, you go to 280. Everybody knows that, and then you realize just go on 280. And even with
280.
yeah.
Yeah, 280 is awesome. You can go 120, no problem.
All right, buddy. I think everybody's now bored with our freeway talk. Take care.
We got 4 minutes.
4 minutes. I got a lot. How many books left?
You're gonna be right on time. Perfect.
Excellent. From Dan. I'm an American. Blah, 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 blah. I'm looking at these things. I should just read this. Just sign? Yeah, that's true. I got to hit a bar after this. That's for Denise from Dan. This is the weirdest signing thing I've ever done. It really does feel like I'm in some kind of Jonathan Carpe Diem. See, somebody has yet to open up a store called Carpet Diem. Carpet Diem.
This is a really interesting question that just came in. Have you ever thought of writing a novel?
Yes.
Let's see what kind of weird fiction would come out of your head.
Okay, this is actually a great question, and I would have planted that. I have written probably since 88, 20 or 30 different types of fiction, but I can't take myself seriously with fabricated characters or dialogue. So I can't, like when I'm done doing it, I can't divorce myself from knowing that it's made up. So I don't. And so I've written probably 6 screenplays and about, I don't know, 30 short stories and 12 half novels. But halfway through it, I just go, I can't take myself seriously because I just go, I know that it's not real. And meanwhile, I can write 5,000 or 6,000 words in a day about anything. But I can't write fiction because I always feel like an imposter. So one day I'm going to try it, but it probably will never happen. I mean, it will never be successful. Like, and also, when you watch people who don't write fiction, it's kind of bad. And they always do this thing where you know what they do first? I'm going to write a children's book. That's the mark of failure. It's the mark of failure. It's like you know what? Children are dumber. So if I write a book of fiction for kids, they won't know it sucks. That's the whole drive behind a children's book is that I can't write. It's true. Veronica B. Fontana. That sounds like the name of a female private detective. Veronica Fontana. Hi, Veronica. Look, I don't have time for small talk. We have 48 hours to find the missing boy. Look, Veronica, I don't know any... Ah! Veronica, stop it. But she was hitting me, just to make that clear.
You got 1 minute, 8:59.
For dot. Get this. It says for dot, period. Interesting. She has a very clever sense of humor, that Dorothy. It would be hilarious if her parents were a fan of the Morse code. Anyway. That's so stupid that it's almost stupid. All right. 4 unicorns. Hope for unicorns. I snorted there. There we go. To Darlene.
30 seconds.
All right. I want to thank everybody for watching this extremely weird. Perhaps this will be one of those things that no one will ever look at again. They will never see this again. This will be buried in a vault, and not even Geraldo will bother to look for it.
10 seconds.
All right. Am I almost there?
5,
Perfect timing, man.
4, 3.
Goodbye, everybody. Thanks for coming. I'm going to go get drunk.